Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you're an old subscriber, welcome back and thank you for stopping by. So on this channel, I talk about crimes that have happened in Africa, anywhere and everywhere where Africans are thriving. But most of my stories are centered around Zimbabweans, wherever they are. Yeah, I mostly talk about crimes that involve Zimbabweans. And just as a disclaimer, everything I talk about on this channel is already in the public domain. I love telling stories that I can never shy away from, but I do not make up these stories. These stories are already in the public domain. All I do is just a little research, or a lot of research rather. I do a lot of research about these stories and then I come up with a video. Okay, that's all I do. So please, do not come for me and say you lied about this, you lied about that. No, I do not make up these stories. They are already in the public domain. But one thing for certain is that I appreciate your comments. I like to read from you. I want to hear from you all the time, guys. I really want to know what you guys think about these stories, about these crimes that have happened. I mean, what do you think about the verdicts of these crimes? What do you think could have been changed? What do you think about our laws? What do you think about us as humans? What do you think about us as a nation, as basically as humans? So I always like to hear from you guys. I really like it when you comment and we keep the conversation going. So that is that. And one other disclaimer for the day. I'm actually at work right now. I'm in a school setup. So there is a chance that we might get disturbed by a student coming into the teacher's office or something. But if that happens, my apologies. So let's dive into today's story. Today's story I am going to talk about, I am going to Mutare. Mutare is a border town, right? So we're going to the border town of Mutare in the Eastern Highlands in Zimbabwe. And we are going to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Murimba. The husband was Elisha, and the wife was Victoria. So in the year 2017, in August, Elisha came back home from abroad. Okay, he had been away for, some sources say for 20 years, other sources say for 25 years. So I would say he had been away for a period of between 20 to 25 years. He had been away from his family. So he came back home, and it is said that when he came back home, he came back through South Africa, and he was saying that he could see a dark cloud when he gets home. He was seeing vouchers, he was seeing things, you know. So it is also said that he came back carrying just a backpack after 20 to 25 years of being away from home. And it is said that his trip abroad had taken him to various countries like South Africa, Australia, the US, the UK. He had stayed in all those countries, but now he was back home. Okay, he was back to his home with his wife, 46-year-old Victoria, and their children. I'm sure their children were now like adults or young adults by that time. So it is said that while his wife was preparing for his surprise welcome home party, tragedy struck. Okay, he and his wife went to bed one night. That was now in September, like 2 to 3 weeks after he had come back home. He went to bed with his wife around 8 in the evening, but his daughter said that the wife, or the mother, Victoria, came to her bedroom, that is the daughter's bedroom, and said that she wanted to spend the night in her bedroom with her daughter. But she said after a while, Victoria decided that she was going to go back to the main house, to the main bedroom, and sleep there and share the bedroom with her husband. And then it is said that the following day, around 11 in the morning, the daughter noticed that her parents had not gotten out of their bedroom. So she went to check up on them. She knocked, there was no response. She opened the door, and still no movement, nothing. So she went to the bed, and then she opened the cover. She saw that her mother was lying in a pool of blood. Her throat had been slit. It had been cut, slit. Yeah, but she couldn't tell what had been used to slit open the throat. So she actually alerted the neighbors who came, but her father was nowhere to be found. Her father was nowhere to be found. So anyway, everybody then went on a hunt for Elisha, that is Victoria's husband. Now, people suspected that Elisha had killed his wife Victoria and had fled the scene. It is also said that before he got to Zimbabwe, he was asking some other people in South Africa how he could illegally cross into Mozambique from Zimbabwe without using his documents. He was asking if there was a way that he could leave the country into Mozambique. Remember, Mutare is a border town, so it is a border town that is between Zimbabwe and Mozambique. So he was asking how he could cross into Mozambique illegally. So now people are now speculating that most likely he killed his wife and then he fled to Mozambique. Okay. So anyway, yeah, the body was taken, the funeral arrangements were being made. They came across a 5-page suicide letter that had been written by Elisha. And the title of the letter was Why It Had to Happen. Why it had to happen. This is where he was explaining everything, why he had to kill the wife and why probably had to kill himself. Now, I'm not even sure at which point this letter was found, whether it was before Elisha's body was found or it was after Elisha's body had been found. Now, let's just get one thing straight. Elisha's body was found a day or two after his wife had been buried, and this body was found in a national park just near his house. Some versions actually say that it was found by some border jumpers who were trying to illegally cross into Mozambique. They found him hanging. Okay, he said to have hung himself in a tree, and some versions actually say that his body was now like decomposing already. But one thing is certain, there was a 5-page letter that Elisha had written, and it was titled Why It Had to Happen. Okay, so the contents of this letter, people are still disputing whether what he said in the letter was true or not. One of Victoria's brothers said that the contents of the letter, well, at first he said he couldn't comment on the contents of the letter because he didn't have the letter. The letter was in the police station, but he also went on to mention that as far as was concerned, Victoria had built the home by herself. She had built a mansion by herself. She didn't even know that her husband had contributed anything, because when the husband left 20 to 25 years ago, they only had the land. There was no house. So she had built the house from scratch by herself. She had built a family business by herself in the absence of her husband. He even said that while the husband was globetrotting, at one stage, Victoria saw him on a live television broadcast in TB Joshua's church. And then she had to follow him to Nigeria and look for him. Now, I'm not sure if his leaving home was something that they agreed on, or if it was just him leaving because he just wanted to leave. But according the way he put it in the letter, it was like they agreed. Why do I have to talk about this letter as if it does not exist? There is actually some of the contents of the letter they're actually online. So I am going to read the contents of the letter to you guys, and then we continue from there. All right, so let's go ahead and read the letter. The letter was titled Why It Had to Happen, and it starts like this. If you were in my shoes, you would have understood why I did this. Outside, Victoria mentioned all the good things about me. but the relationship is devoid of love. She sleeps on the edge of the bed 99% of the nights. Any sexual activity is preceded by some heated exchange. She's up at 12 a.m. on WhatsApp. If I wake up, she switches off the phone, and if I inquire, she says it's a client. Some of the audios I accessed while talking to her close friends have been completely derogatory of me and my family. Kushataere mas knock knees and they speak in hushed tones with her sister, brother, or close relatives or friends. If you look around the house, the photos of your relatives are there. None of my relatives, even the neighbors, testify to this. If you look around the house, the photos of the relatives, of her relatives only, none of my relatives are there. Even the neighbors testify to this. Occupants always of the Zwakas and the Murimbas come during funerals only. This can't continue. Before and after going abroad, I bought and continued to purchase things for my supposed family. I bought her cars and paid for building material, labor costs, etc. When the restaurant started, likewise, I purchased all the equipment, kettle, deep fryer, etc. When this initial enterprise graduated to the wedding decor, the tents, etc. were paid for by me. When the fourth tent was bought during our long discussion, she assured me that these things were for our family business. When funds were required for developing the Ridgeview Gardens again, I paid the costs of grading the ground and access roads. 2 boreholes were sunk with unpleasant outcomes. Despite her assurances, she registered the enterprise in her name. Today and to date, she has flatly refused to co-own the existing business. The business is run between her and her sisters and her sister's daughter. And any inquiries regarding the business setting invites very coarse language. Her brother in Harare, Abel, I bought him his business equipment, but today he treats me like a crazed lunatic. Well, a crazy one I've become today. I can see the vultures circling for my death. Yes, I will die, but on my own terms. I was willing to forgive her for whatever passed, but for her to run to have with another man or a woman, I just can't stomach that. She has refused to let go of her dark side associations, and these have become her advisors. I won't be tortured as happened in the past many years. Close quotes. So these are some of the contents that were in the letter. It is said to be a 5-page letter, so that definitely means there is more that was said. Now, I'm not really sure about the size of this letter, of at least the page, how big the one page was, because it was said to be 5-page. But anyway, those were some of the contents of the letter. He claims that he bought equipment for the family business as well as funding the building of the house, but the wife, Victoria, registered the business in her own name, and probably the property, the mansion that the brother spoke about, was also registered in her own name. So to him, that was the reason for him to actually take her life as well as take his own life. Like he said, he was going to die, but on his own terms. So when asked to comment, his brother, not his brother, her brother, Victoria's brother, said that she thought her brother-in-law, Elisha, had killed Victoria because he was just jealous of her. He didn't expect to come back home to a mansion. He didn't expect her to have succeeded or at least established something solid when he left. By the time he came back, she was now a well-known businesswoman. He didn't expect that. And according to the same brother, he believes that Elisha killed Victoria because of the love for money and because he was jealous of her. But I'm saying, if he had killed her for the money, why did he have to take his own life? Well, the brother said he killed her for money because her wallet was empty after she had passed on. They saw that the wallet had been emptied. So he killed her for the money that was in her wallet. That sounds like a robbery to me, right? Not a murder. But anyway, people had different things to say about this, killing or these two deaths. Okay, some people actually believed that Elisha indeed killed his wife, and he did it because he believed that she was having extramarital affairs and he couldn't contain it, like what he said in his letter. Other people actually believe that he didn't kill her. There was a robbery that happened in the house. It was a robbery gone wrong, and they were both killed by whoever had robbed them, which explains the empty wallet. That's other people's version of what could have happened, because people actually also believe that Elisha was just a victim as much as Victoria was a victim. And some people don't believe that Elisha hung himself. They actually believe he was hung there. Or there is another version that Victoria could have been having an affair with somebody. But now that Elisha was back, this man became jealous and he decided to kill them both. Okay? It is also believed that probably Victoria's boyfriend killed the two. Some people actually say the boyfriend could have killed the two so that Victoria does not speak, because the boyfriend could have been somebody who was very powerful, somebody who was well known, somebody very influential who didn't want his name tarnished. So these are all versions of, these are all like explanations of what could have happened. But what do you guys think? Have you heard about the story before? What do you think happened? Do you think Elisha came back home with a mission to kill his wife as well as take his own life based on his letter? Was it even him who wrote that letter? Did he even write that letter? And also, is it possible that all these developments that were happening in Victoria's family were actually being funded by Elisha, and the fact that he was excluded from co-owning these things pushed him to the edge? Is it possible that Victoria did not tell her family the truth, that her husband was funding what they were doing? But then again, if Victoria had to follow her husband to Nigeria, was it because she didn't even know that he was in Nigeria? Why did he leave home? Was it an agreement between the two of them that he was going to go home? He was going to leave the country, go abroad, and send some money for her to start a family business, then you'd come back home. 20 to 25 years, he was away. Does that still constitute a marriage? Does that still sound like a marriage? I don't know. I always feel like marriages have become death traps for both men and women. But I don't know what you guys think. So you guys, please do comment down below. Tell me what you think. What do you think could have happened? And do you think it is possible that indeed Elisha killed his wife because of what he stated in his letter, and he also killed himself? Or do you think that they were robbed? Do you think that there was a third person involved that we don't even know about, And do you think that the police did enough to investigate this case, or they just concluded that, oh, he killed his wife and he killed himself, case closed? Was it an open and shut case? What do you guys think? Please do comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. That's all for today. This is today's video, and if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for being part of the family. If you're only watching this for the first time and you have not watched any of my videos, please do go back and watch all my videos and do comment on all my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Do take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Do what you need to do to protect yourselves, and stay away from crime, because if you do crime, you are most likely to do the time. Be blessed.